behalf of society and also civilization, we can't be compelled. Transgender issue is criminal.
Imitating the opposite sex is strictly forbidden in the Bible, and the gift of gender is part of the goodness of God's creation.
Transgenderism is a mental health disorder. We don't let you smoke a cigarette.
Woke is bullshit.
So you saw me making air quotes up there with gender identity. When did you first notice how gender identity ideology was shaping the law?
If you want to protect children, if you want to protect young girls and women, you keep their sports and their spaces free from biological men.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
So today was the day I got the call from Kaiser for May 14th, 2024. I have my FHS or FFS, which is facial feminization surgery or facial harmonization surgery. Wow, this is like the next step in my journey, or really my first step. I've been waiting since August for this to happen. So I couldn't think of anything but this. But now I can finally work on some goals of mine that I've been wanting to share, which is documenting my journey of FHS or FFS to align with my transition goals of appearing more feminine. Even though I'm already cunt, I'm just going to be serving more and like a level up my hotness from like hottie to like major hottie. But this is just day one and the first step of my journey that I wanted to share because there isn't that much information pertaining to medical transition as a non-binary person. So I am documenting my journey and sharing my vulnerability for other transgender, non-conforming people, non-binary people, or anyone else that just wants to learn a little bit more about transgender people. So let's get into it. Hi, sweetie.
Like a star.
The star.
Why are you making a film about yourself? Why do you believe it's important to you?
I'm making this film because I want to document the process of me preparing for surgery, facial feminization surgery or facial harmonization surgery. I think it's very important to be visible in this current day and age with so much hate and negativity that's being spread just in general, online, social media. And I think it's important to amplify our voices and make sure that transgender people are seen. It's really difficult for me to express myself and share how I'm feeling. So I think this documentary will help me develop and grow and evolve, not only as a person, but as a transgender person, and also to share my own personal experience as a non-binary transgender person. In America, there's a lot of hate being spewed. There's a lot of anti-LGBTQ plus laws and hate laws being passed currently. So I would feel like it's important to educate other people and show transgender people in a positive light. There's not really any sort of representation for non-binary people. There's a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and I think it's important to share my personal story and share my experience to help other folks feel like they're not alone or afraid, and that they can feel comfortable enough to live their true, authentic lives. Transgender people, when they're spoken about or referred to in the media, they hardly ever have trans voices heard when they speak about transgender issues. So I think it's important to share trans people's perspective about trans issues. This is something that I need to do, and this is what I want to do.
No. What do you want people to take away from this documentary?
I want people to, one, educate themselves, two, learn a little bit about myself. During the pandemic, I kind of went incognito and I kind of like just fell off a little bit off social media and interacting with a lot of friends. Before the pandemic, I was very socially active, very extroverted. I was always out and very connected with friends. But since the pandemic, it allowed me to like take a step back and do a lot of soul searching. That introspective time allowed me to understand my gender identity and understand why I've been feeling the way that I have been over my entire life. So I think this is a good opportunity to reintroduce myself to the world and to some of my close friends that I haven't talked to or seen in several years.
That's exciting. Displaying your metamorphosis to
Yes.
so many people. That takes a lot of strength and guts. Good for you, girl. I want to know, what is your gender identity? How do you define yourself?
I currently identify as non-binary trans femme. Internally, I really have no sense of gender. I feel agender or gender void. That's another term for agender. But basically, I don't identify as male or female. And typically, non-binary people don't strictly identify as male, female, man, or woman. But it's just easier to say non-binary because most cis people don't understand and their brains can't comprehend the gender diverse and gender expansiveness of not only human existence, but creation in general. So it's just easier just to tell people that I'm non-binary, but I prefer to present more feminine and express my femininity because I think that's powerful and more appealing, and something about feminine beauty is just much more cunt, I guess.
You talk a lot about the word like non-binary and transgender non-binary. How do you define these terms, and like what's the distinction between the two?
Well, non-binary is under the general umbrella of being transgender. Transgender simply means you don't identify with the gender that was assigned to you at birth. So non-binary means you don't identify as like strictly male or female. Some non-binary people are more fluid and would say maybe they're like 60% male or 40% female, or differing, varying degrees of masculine or femininity. But me personally, like, I don't strictly fit into either of those boxes. Not all non-binary people like to use the transgender label or term when referring to themselves. That's completely okay. All transgender identities are valid, and not all non-binary people make the decision to medically transition. Some people just do social transition, or it's a much more personal journey and have more internal conversations and feelings related to their gender identity. Everyone should feel comfortable in what they want to do within the queer community, or even as cis people. I believe everyone should express themselves freely and authentically as possible.
So it sounds like gender expression and gender identity aren't necessarily mutually exclusive.
No, definitely not. People have an internal sense of gender, and gender expression is how you choose to present yourself, your demeanor, how you talk, how you carry yourself in this world. And with gender expansive people, trans people, queer people, sometimes they're more masculine one day or more feminine, or they pick and choose different parts of femininity. For example, trans masculine dudes, they're definitely men, but they still like to wear skirts and makeup, and that's totally valid too. Everyone should just feel comfortable to express themselves in however which way they feel is most affirming to them.
And if you don't identify as a woman, why are you having like facial feminization surgery? Do you prefer the term facial harmonization? Because I haven't really heard that before.
I actually haven't heard that until I learned about this surgery because I'm non-binary. When I was meeting with the different providers, when they asked, oh, do you want FFS or facial feminization surgery or FHS? I was like, oh, what's FHS? Oh, it's just another term for non-binary people that do have this surgery that don't necessarily identify as binary trans woman. Most people just know it as FFS that are familiar with that surgery, but I would like to have this surgery so I can have a happier and healthy life, and I could feel more comfortable in my skin and be a hotter version of my person than I already am.
I'm wondering, when did you start this whole journey for yourself? When did you know that you were non-binary?
Well, it all started when I was a little gay kid. So basically, once the pandemic had started, I did a lot of soul searching and learning about different spiritual traditions and learning more about that, but then also spending time with myself. Because before the pandemic, people were just focused on the exterior world and what was going on around them. It didn't have a chance to actually take a step back and be like, what's on the inside? What am I actually going through? Through my entire life, I was just running away from the problems and the challenges that I had faced. And that really forced me to be like, okay, you need to figure out what's going on with you. So I had come to terms that I was non-binary because my whole life I never felt like a man or a woman, even though I was like pretty feminine growing up and I like to express femininity. And going out with my friends or going out to parties or clubs, concerts, I would normally present more feminine. So this is when people started to understand non-binary, because I don't think that was really a term since the early part of the 21st century. I think prior to that, the term would be gender non-conforming. So I knew once I heard about that term and then kind of did some more research and then be like, oh, okay, this feels right for me. I would say I'm non-binary because I never felt like a man, and I don't necessarily feel a strong attachment to being a woman either. So that was probably late 2020, early 2021. And I had already told friends, family members, even though they didn't really understand that I was non-binary and that I wanted to go by they, them. And then I just didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, oh, okay, I'm non-binary. And then as a few years passed, I met more trans people, specifically in the workplace. And I saw how successful and how happy they were. And I didn't even know they were trans. It was only till like a few months later where I was like, oh shit. And so my supervisor at the time in 2022, I started having more conversations because I was like, let me try that. Let me see what that's about. And so I remember asking him in his office one day, thank God he's a therapist because I would get free therapy sessions all the time. And so I asked him, I think I'm trans. And then he was like, okay, are you sure? Why do you think you're trans? I'm like, I don't know. I just think I am. He's like, okay, why don't you figure that out? I'm like, okay. And then it wasn't until I think October of 2022 that there was the National Transgender Survey that they send out every few years just to gather data about trans Americans' experience, and how they worded it, just so it would be the same for all survey respondents. They just said transgender. And so I was answering all these questions and I was, oh, okay, like, yeah, this makes sense. I am transgender. But I just didn't necessarily use that label or think that it made sense for me as a non-binary person. And so January of 2023, I started the process of getting referrals for gender affirming care. And I started hormone therapy in March of 2023. I think this is common for most trans people. I don't know for everyone. Maybe people that come out as trans later on in life when they're much older in their 30s, 40s, 50s, etc. But for me personally, at 6 years old, I knew that I didn't feel comfortable as a boy. I remember starting a new school in second grade, and I was struggling to fit in as a new kid. And the boys always made fun of me because they thought I was very girly and very feminine because I didn't really play sports. I didn't get rough and dirty, and I didn't make fun of the other girls. That's kind of typical as a young boy thing to do when you're that age. And then when I would try to hang out with the girls so I wouldn't be alone and hang out with them, they kind of ostracized me as well because they thought I was just some weird kid that didn't have any guy friends and could only hang out with the girls. So even at a young age, other people knew that as well, but when you're a child, you don't have that vocabulary or the insight to know why you're different. You just know and you can feel that. So it's very isolating during the younger parts of my life. And throughout elementary school and middle school, I was constantly bullied. I suffered with anxiety, depression. I had suicidal ideations. And I just thought that it was because I was like, oh, I'm just like some loser gay boy kids. And it was only until later, as a teen, that I had more friends in high school. And I felt a little bit more comfortable, but I just still didn't feel right in my own skin. And then once you get older, you kind of understand, yeah, I'm gay. And that label felt right at that time. And then once I started college, I felt more comfortable being more openly feminine and expressing myself and I guess just being myself. And that kind of led me to where I am now.
It's pretty clear that you're very confident in yourself despite all the adversity that you grew up in. I'm wondering if you think as a queer person growing up in the Bay Area has influenced who you are.
Oh, for sure. The Bay Area is a very diverse part of California and within America itself. I was born in San Francisco. I grew up in the suburbs, the boonies of the East Bay, about 50 miles from downtown San Francisco. But just in general, the Bay Area is very welcoming, very chill. And moving to San Francisco definitely helped me express myself and be more out and visibly queer person, which I don't think a lot of people in America have the privilege of doing, let alone the world. So I think growing up in the Bay Area and living in San Francisco for pretty much my whole adult life has shaped me for who I am.
Sounds like the visibility that you were able to find in your peers and friend mentors here has really impacted how you developed your sense of self. Why do you think visibility is so important to you?
I think visibility is important because people need to express themselves and live their lives as authentically as possible. That's the only thing we have in this world, is just to be who we are, whatever that is. I think a lot of people are scared because they feel like people will judge them, either their partners, friends, employer, society in general. They feel like they can't be who they are because of that fear of discrimination. For me, it's such a crazy concept for people not to be who they are. And by being visible as your authentic self shows other people that they can tap into that confidence that they have inside themselves and be the best person that they could possibly be. I think it's important to be visible, especially in this day and age. There's a lot of hate out here, and the only way to combat that is with love and just showing people that we're just like you. Trans people are just like you. We make up such a small minority of the population. We're not evil. We're not some boogeyman. We're not subhuman. We're just like you. We look a little bit hotter than others, and that's okay.
That makes sense. And I think it sounds like visibility and expression are in and of itself synonyms for love.
Yes.
And that being said, along with love, I can imagine that like there's a lot of fear that comes along with this type of process and this type of vulnerability that you're showing to the world by getting in front of a camera when, like you said, there's clearly so much political discourse just about who you are. What are some fears you have with people's perceptions?
I try to live fearless as possible. Fear is just something that lives in the mind. It doesn't exist. It's just an emotion that people attach themselves to and fall into this dark hole of, what's the word? Ruminating. Ruminating, yes. Sorry. This is a public school education.
Right. Fund our school.
Yes. As a society, it would be more helpful and more inclusive to have less enforced and rigid gender stereotypes and gender conformity for everyone to feel more happy and more inclusive. But I know that might be like a utopia idea, but I think that's something that can definitely happen in the near future. I hope so.
Binaries inhibit expression sometimes, and the removal of binaries doesn't necessarily mean that we eradicate them. It just means that we open up the floor to more possibilities in how we express ourselves and allow people to really express who they are that may not necessarily fit in that binary of male, female, black, white, etc. It sounds like this documentary is kind of a love letter to yourself.
Yes, I'm ready to introduce myself back to all my friends that I haven't seen, that I was very close to. Maybe it can help even just one person. Most of my life, I hated myself and was miserable and not understanding why. Through this process, it's definitely made me more confident and much more loving of myself. And I think it's not just being trans, that's just a small aspect about me. You have to do a lot of other work, mind, body, and soul. It's a whole holistic approach. Everything is connected. There is an underlying universal reality of oneness. And if people can tap into that, they can see that there are no differences only on the surface level between subtle and gross. So I think that learning more about God, and I just use that term because God can't be defined by words and labels and names, but subscribing to a higher power and knowing that there is something greater than all of us, than what we're experiencing. We're just consciousness. We're just souls inhabiting our physical bodies. And I think that's what's powerful about myself, is that I know that I'm not this or that. I'm just a being inhabiting this body, navigating this world. And so are other people. They just don't have the awareness to see that. I think that's beautiful, that trans people and gender nonconforming people are more powerful and saying, no, I'm not what you say or what you think that I am. I am who I am. And that's what makes trans people more powerful.
Trans people are almost always on the forefront of advancing the rights of queer people, despite facing so much stigma and discrimination, even within queer circles like gay men, right? The fetishization of trans bodies. How do you find yourself still having compassion and empathy for people that wrong you?
Because they don't understand. People mistreat other people because of ignorance, lack of education, lack of compassion. And those are all skills that you can be taught. I believe all of us have that within us. There's no good or bad people. We all possess different aspects in our lives that make us who we are as an individual. But we're here to be put on this earth to love, honor, serve, and respect one another. And none of us are strangers in this world. We're all one part of a spiritual human family. There's a spiritual plurality that is interconnected between all of us. I know it's like very like, oh, the sun and the moon and the stars, but the same chemicals or elements that humans are made up are the same ones that up in space and the celestial beings. It doesn't click in our heads and recognize that, the underlying consciousness that is existence itself.
So empathy is a type of divinity almost.
Yes. And I think you can't fight hate with hate. You have to love one another. And that's not to say that you can't defend yourself if someone is physically threatening you or harming you or trying to eradicate you. Of course, you have to defend yourself so you can obviously be alive. But I think just practicing good deeds, active compassion, and practicing the art of living and being and completing your daily activities, whatever it is, with a certain sanctity and sacredness, and just doing good for other people will in turn create a ripple effect in your personal life and your community around you, which creates a positive effect for the whole universe.
That was very succinct. You really put a lot of thought into this, huh?
Oh, this is just me speaking from the heart. I definitely am feeling excited. This morning, when I was taking a shower, a lot of my beard hair was gone after I washed my face, which is really good. That causes the gender euphoria, not the gender dysphoria. So you can kind of see I'm happy when that happens because I know that's the laser's working. This is me 59 days closer to my surgery date. So okay, I'm getting ready to go visit my parents. I'm about to leave to the airport and I'm going to tell them that I'm going to have my facial surgery. It would be interesting to see what their reaction is. This is the real deal. I'm feeling nervously excited. I'm nervous about their reaction, but excited that I get to share with them something that I need to do. Like, this is very serious to me, but at the end of the day, it's still going to happen. And whether they choose to support me or not in this, whatever, I'm going to still be trans and I'm still going to do me, but wish me luck. I'm filming a documentary about myself.
Okay.
About being transgender and this whole process. This is a personal project.
What do you intend to do with this? Because you said it's personal.
Yes, this is for me. It's always been difficult to express my feelings and emotions. So I think this would be helpful for me to share my personal experience and my stories for other people. This is just me telling you that I'm filming a documentary about myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to have surgery in May.
What kind of surgery?
Facial surgery.
Like what?
It's called facial feminization surgery.
What does that entail?
They're going to shave down my trachea or Adam's apple. They're going to shave down the bones of my forehead, my chin. They're going to lift up my eyebrow. They're going to shrink my forehead. And
wow, that sounds very painful.
Yeah, and now what's the risk of this?
I mean, there's always risk in surgery, so.
But I've never heard of this surgery only because I don't know much about what you're dealing with, talking about. So.
Is it all at once or?
All at once. So it'll probably be the full 8 hours.
Let's say you don't like the way you look when it's over with, then what? Because sometimes people, they have surgery and they look like crap. You know, they look
That's also in the back of my mind. I mean, I'm not trying to put that out.
Like I told Mom, she wants to do things. I said, your health and safety is my number one priority.
I am doing this for my health and safety.
But I'm saying the surgery, the health and safety.
I'm doing this so I can have a happy and healthier life.
But that's mentally.
Physically as well, yes.
Well, the physical part is your mental part.
So that's like stage 1, and then what's stage 2 and 3?
I mean,
What do you mean stage 1?
Where do you
stage
stop? What else would you want done?
What's the next step in your process? Do you know?
This is just it for right now.
For right now.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
that's what we're asking.
What's the next?
We just worry about your health physically.
Yes, I'm doing this for my
mentally.
health, for both, yes.
Because as I say, I've read articles and seen, not a documentary, where news related, where young people have had surgery and they've removed a part of something that is not reversible. And they wanted to go back to what they were born as far as physically.
I'm just saying, in 15 years, are you going to be the same person then as you are now?
I would hope not. I would hope that everyone's different. I wouldn't want to be the same person.
No, I'm just saying, if you do something now, maybe 15 years from now or 10 years from now, you're going, man, I've changed. I've done something different. I met somebody,
I'm doing this for me, so.
Okay.
When is this?
May 14th.
May 14th?
To me, if you're having elective surgery, you're saying that,
It's not an elective surgery. It's a medically necessary surgery.
How did you research this? Have you seen someone who's had this surgery?
No, I don't know anyone that's had this surgery personally.
And
they've done hundreds of these surgeries.
What if something and you can't?
They nick you and then you
can't drink water or something anymore.
Well, I just have to trust that they'll do a good job and that everything will be okay after surgery.
And have you researched these doctors?
Unfortunately, through Kaiser, we only have 3 providers, 3 surgeons that do the surgery for the entire Northern California. And it's unfortunate that they don't really give you any information. They just say, here's the doctors you'd pick. And so I just had to go off of.
Well, did you research these doctors? Is what I'm.
Yes, but it's not like a private clinic where you can ask them and they provide before and after photos, or you can go on the internet and they post it, so they can get more clients. I feel comfortable with her. Yes, I decided to go with the lady doctor, not the 2 other male doctors.
Why? Because a woman knows more female features? Christian, how did you come to this? Is there like a book that says, okay, I've completed steps 1, 2, 3?
He's writing the book now.
There's no rule book, Mom. There's no right or wrong way to transition.
I'm not saying that, but how did you come to this? But there has to be certain things that are done first.
No.
Obviously, what
do you mean? What certain things done first?
Well, you're taking female hormones. So
that's not a requirement for the surgery.
I didn't say that. Is that one of the first things one does?
For some people that choose to medically transition, but not everyone goes that route or can afford the hormone replacement therapy. It just depends what their goals are. Some people, they just want to socially transition. Some people, through cultural reasons, socioeconomic reasons, they don't move forward with their transition, and it's just like an internal thing.
So are you going to talk to some other friends and stuff and see, get their feedback?
I don't have any other friends that are doing this.
But you don't identify as a woman or a female or a man or male?
Yes, that is correct.
I don't get why the feminine features then if you don't identify.
Because it's more affirming for me than to be read as male. I mean, more as woman or feminine than male.
Okay, I just don't get the logic is what I'm saying.
Well, I think the male features on me is gross, and I don't like that.
Okay, so it's the male features that you do not like about yourself?
Correct.
Okay.
Let's say you feel like you're 51% female and 49% male. You'd lean toward the female side.
I really have no internal sense of gender.
No,
it's
I
just
get that.
easier just to tell people I'm non-binary because they don't understand. But I'm internally, I don't see myself as a male or female or any of that. I'm just a person inhabiting this body. But I was assigned male at birth.
Did you just say?
I'm male at birth.
Yeah, you said you were assigned male at birth.
That is correct.
And I thought you said you have not been that. Because every time I say something, you said, no, I'm not.
I mean, I never was a boy or a man, but
birth certificate.
It's a clinical term to refer to transgender people that are assigned male at birth.
See, I don't agree with
female
that.
at
I
birth.
believe you're born a man or a woman, male or female.
It's kind of like a prehistoric view of.
That's science. The doctor's going
I
to
don't think you know about
deliver the
science.
child, and it's going to be a female or a
Well,
male.
you're conflating sex and gender.
Well, no, what I'm saying
Gender
is,
is-
I don't want to argue with that because I'm not going to change your view and you're not going to change mine. So we could say, okay, move on to something else. But if I'm on camera, I want to say, I think you're born a male or a female.
You're wrong, but it's okay.
Christian, that's just science.
I don't think you understand science.
Well, no, but the doctor certainly is going to acknowledge either a female or a male.
I mean, in the whole course of history, there's been diversity in every aspect of existence. Plants or animals, insects, whatever, they're not just male or female. Some are both, some have no gender, like, bacteria, like it's just a living organism.
Bacteria, but here's I go back. I have to believe the Bible in its entirety. And in Genesis, it says God made man and woman. So that's where I come from, and that's not going to change.
I agree.
I'm just thinking about possible complications that come up that might not be.
Yeah, long-term effects. Something goes wrong.
Where everything goes right. So I just got back recently visiting my parents from SoCal, and they took the news of me telling them that I'm making this documentary and having my surgery. Okay, kind of sad that they still have that mindset and they're very conservative and reactionary. They don't understand, and they will never understand fully or comprehend, but they did offer their support, which is nice. But transgender people exist and try to coexist with other people. So that's kind of sad, but what can you do? I can't change everyone's way of thinking. However, I can only try to educate as best I can while not compromising my integrity and my morals and my values of trying to understand the other side. I try not to have the mindset or perspective of us versus them, see, two becomes one. None of us are different in this life. We just all experience life a little bit different. It's interesting to note that my parents say they love me, but they don't. For me, if I don't understand something, I'm just going to be like, okay, cool, and move forward. I'm not pressed off some other bitch. Definitely not. But it's interesting that other generations, they just can't fathom or understand other people's lifestyles, and they have such a big issue with that. Everyone has different cultural things just based on where they grew up, what time period, their karma from previous life cycles. So I understand that people are going to be different on surface level, but on the inside, we're all the same. Some people from the older generations just don't quite get it. And some other people do. I'm not saying that all people that are boomers or Gen Y or whatever people came before the millennials, some of them understand, and that's cool. But I feel like my generation and then the younger kids, they're much more open-minded and much more fluid with their gender and sexuality, which I think is good because human existence and creation itself is so diverse. And it's kind of dumb to think that only one way of living or existing or being is your way, and that's it. Yeah, even though my parents, they don't understand, and I wish they could have a different mindset, but they said again and again that you can't change my mind. So it's unfortunate that I can't do that, but you can't reach everyone. You can't change. You can't help everyone. So that's just life. Fuck it. I wish they could understand what I was going through, or I had a personal connection with another transgender, non-binary person that was going through this process. But that's why I'm making this documentary, to help other non-binary trans femmes, or just non-binary people in general that want to medically transition, and just show them that it's okay to struggle. We all struggle in our lives, and hopefully I can make it a little bit easier for someone else that it's going through what I'm going through to share my story. Thank you for allowing me to interview you for my documentary. As I started creating this, how could I not highlighting some of the trans people that I love and cherish and that I'm able to call a friend. So thank you for letting me ask questions.
Visibility to me means being authentically you and showing up in your fullest capacity as you walk the world. I think visibility, it's an interesting sort of loaded term because of people's level of comfort with disclosure. I do think there is something really powerful in being able to claim transness and broadcast it to the world. I think pretty much every time I come out, there's still that sort of feeling of this sort of lightness that comes with it.
Visibility is important because being visible or living how we want to express ourselves, for us to see that in one another, especially for younger trans youth that don't really have people to look up to that are like them.
Visibility is very much a psychological ability to bring your authentic self to any space you're in without feeling in danger. I think a lot of people equate visibility with passing, but I think it's more of a collective communal acceptance that people exist outside of the binary and we are worth keeping safe, despite what the statistics would tell you.
What's one thing you wish a cis person would know?
What I would like them to know is that as trans, when we're talking trans women, trans men, we're not trying to be women or men. We're just trying to be us. We're not trying to replace, to get over.
I want cis people to know that trans people know who they are and where they came from. So I don't find it necessary for us to be told who we are or who we should be, because we're very positive, or else we wouldn't be going through the stuff that we go through.
When did you realize you were trans?
When I started to realize something was up, I think it was probably elementary school age, where I just felt I wasn't good at being a girl, and I'd be around other girls and I'd be like, why can't I get this right? But I just figured I was a nerd.
Since I can remember, when I was 3 years old, I would go to the park with my brothers and they'd be playing on the swings and the slides, and I'm grabbing dandelions and blowing them and wishing just to wake up in the right body.
So do you prefer to use the label of being transgender and non-binary, or do you prefer one or the other?
So I usually lead with non-binary just because I feel it captures my experience best, but I also struggle a little bit with getting people to understand what exactly I'm supposed to be perceived as. You have in your mind that you're going to be perceived a certain way. So that's an expectation I have to make sure that I don't end up performing a personality type that really doesn't bring any joy or happiness. In my own opinion, I think we're always going to be transitioning because it's a complete transition outside of norms of society. So, and we're always having to evolve. I don't think there's things that are extra hard for trans men, because I transitioned a long time ago. I've been living as a man in the world and a white man. And I've seen this in other trans folks where they're so involved with their sense of oppression and they're not checking their privileges that come with it too. It's just such a massive amount of privilege that you walk into if you're a white trans man.
When I see a lot of the state legislations, anti-trans bills being passed in places like Alabama and southern states, I was told by somebody when I was voicing my opinion that I was scared for trans people in general, and also just scared for my own safety after these anti-trans bills were showing up and being passed. I was told by somebody that I know that, oh, well, we're in California, don't worry about it. And it's kind of like,
no, we do have to worry.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, if all of these other states are passing this thing, does that not mean that I can't have empathy for these other trans people that are going through even worse than what I'm going, than what we have to deal with over here? And also, it doesn't mean that everything's permanent just because trans and LGBTQ community members feel more safe in California now does not mean that that's a permanent thing, and things can change. And that's what's always scary to me.
We will show you how to do the dressing changes in the hospital on the 15th whenever we round on you in the morning. We'll show you how to do the dressing changes. You'll be wrapped up in a couple of ace bandages, one around the forehead, one around the jaw. You will have some sutures inside the mouth that will need to stay intact for the first few weeks. So we ask that you follow a fast food diet for about 2 weeks after surgery. Nothing that really requires a whole lot of chewing, stuff that's pretty easy to eat. You also have a sore throat or some hoarseness in the voice from the trach shave as well for the first week. We still ask patients to discontinue their estrogen. You will be pretty swollen after. Sometimes patients' eyes get swollen shut for the first few days. So it is helpful to have someone there the first few days just to kind of help with the dressing changes and walking around, and also getting you food and ice. Jaw is usually the worst part, I would say. It tends to get pretty swollen. It can take a while for all that swelling to come down, but usually by like the second or third week, a lot of that swelling has come down. And then you just may notice some residual swelling for the first few months. There are 3 surgeons at Kaiser: Dr. Brinksetter, Dr. Kleinberger, and Dr. Shee.
Correct.
And then I'm the physician assistant that works with them. Dr. Kleinberger and Dr. Shee are the ones who kind of pioneered these type of surgeries at Kaiser. And then Dr. Brinksetter came on a couple of years later. We do this like 4 days a week for the last, I don't even know, like 5 or 6 years. So we do this a lot.
How long do you think this surgery would take? I'm assuming it would probably take pretty much all day.
Usually about 7 hours. Yeah, I would say you'll probably be done around like 3 in the afternoon. Start time is at 8 a.m. And you're probably looking at about 7 hours-ish. And then you'll go into the post-op recovery unit, make sure your pain's well controlled, your nausea, if you're nauseous at all, that's well controlled. And then once you feel like pretty good, then they'll wheel you up to the room that you'll be staying in the hospital.
Thank you so much, Justina.
Here in a few weeks.
Oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. I look so gross. Yeah, I just got off the phone with the PA, the physician's assistant. This seems like it's a lot, but I think I asked all the questions. It's crazy to think there's only 3 doctors that perform all their surgery, but they said that they've been doing this for a while, so we'll see how it turns out. We're 2 weeks away from my surgery officially. Some of my friends have been asking me like, oh, how are you feeling? Are you nervous? Are you excited? And I'm definitely feeling both of those emotions, but today was the first day where actually it was, oh shit, this is happening. In the midst of that, realizing I've struggled with disorder eating for several years. I wouldn't say my whole life, but definitely for most of my adult life, navigating the intersectionality of transitioning and working through my eating disorder, having to navigate all the different prep work of the doctor's appointments for the surgery, the therapy appointments for the eating disorder, having to force myself to eat so I could have a better recovery for my surgery. But today was the first day that I actually genuinely felt excited about the surgery. My gender therapist, I had therapy with them a few days ago, and they had started crying because they were so happy of how far I've come and the progress since working with them since last year in 2023. And they started to tear up, and it started to make me tear up a little bit just to know that someone genuinely cares about me and appreciates all the hard work and recognizes the progress that I've made since working with them. So that's nice to know that someone cares about me other than like my friends or family or anyone else that I interact with in my life. So I definitely feel a lot better today now that it's getting closer to my surgery, and I'm more excited that it's finally here and we can get it over with. Just the surgery part, because that way I can just move forward and move on to the next step of the journey, which is recovery and focusing on myself, and also entering treatment for my disorder eating. So I'm just trying to get through these next few weeks and really be more receptive to how I'm feeling and open to what the universe is giving me in that very moment, and just having the awareness to see that God will only give you as much as you can handle. And I feel like I'm just getting just the right amount to the very edge where it's overwhelming. I originally intended to create this documentary to share my personal experiences and my journey as a transgender, non-binary person, medically transitioning and having the surgery. But the more that I worked on this film, I realized that this isn't just for the trans community or the queer community or any gender non-conforming people that don't feel like there's any representation. This is also a documentary to share to the world that whether you're straight, queer, trans, cis, whatever, this is to show that you can live an authentic life as happy as possible as long as you have the confidence to be who you really are and not care about what anyone else thinks. I'm genuinely excited about my surgery. Now I actually feel pumped and like, oh, bitch, yes, let's fucking go. The last few weeks, I definitely felt not excited and felt more nervous about what's to come. However, I'm starting to shed some of those emotions and some of those fears and transfer that negative energy into something more positive and focus on my documentary and to share something so beautiful and so intimate, and my vulnerability as a transgender non-binary person medically transitioning and documenting it. The more steps that I take with medically transitioning, it is making me more stronger and more confident in who I am as a person. I am transgender, and that's just one part of me, but it's definitely a big part of me as of right now in this life, since I'm so early on in my transition. And hopefully, as the years progress, I can work towards other goals. But this is like the biggest one right now. So, baby steps. Yes, thank you. This is all for you, baby. Okay, it's less than 48 hours until my surgery, and I'm starting to feel the nervousness a little bit. I'm hella excited, but then also, this shit's hella crazy. What am I doing? I'm gonna go get the bones of my face shaved down, rhinoplasty, trachea shape, a bunch of other stuff too. This is hella crazy that this is what trans people do. Well, not every trans person, but I'm spending the night at my friend's house because they're going to take me to the hospital for my surgery, and then I'm going to stay with them after I get out of the hospital for a few days. So I'm just getting my steps together at my apartment. Today's Mother's Day, May 12th. I feel like I'm on the precipice of something greater than anything I could possibly imagine when it comes to the surgery and my transition. This is a catalyst for putting myself back out there and reintroducing myself to the world. This has been in the works for a few years, ever since I knew I was trans. Oh, I think this is kind of be gaggy, right? To be like, oh, bitch, I'm trans. Look, I have a brand new life. I'm much happier, healthier, and I'm ready to share myself with the world again. It's a lot. Every moment is closer to my surgery. So thank you. This is one of the last few times that I'll ever see my old face. I'm going to have a completely different face shape. It's going to look so different. It's going to feel so different just having this surgery. So people have called me Two-Face before, but now it'll really be true. One of the last moments of my old face. Feel my mama. Last time you'll see my face.
Yeah.
Adios. On to newer and better things. Spending the last remaining days with my family. It's 16 hours away from my surgery. T-minus 16 hours countdown. Bitch, we're really doing the damn thing. And I am so excited. I thought I would be super nervous, but I definitely am not now. I feel hella excited, hella juiced. Let's fuck me up. Let's get this shit done. I'm ready to be hot, fly, sexy, cool. All those adjectives. Cunt, queen, giving. No, that's so corny. But I'm really excited, and thank you for making it so far along on my journey. If you set your mind to it, you can really achieve anything in this life. And by working on myself, I can change who I am, and in effect, I can change the world. Hopefully, the people watching this can change something about themselves too, hopefully for the better. I need to take a moment to just reflect on how far I've come on my journey as a person and my medical transition. Some of my goals for this is not just to have a more feminine face, but also increase my quality of life. This surgery is something I've been waiting for a very long time, and it's finally here, knocking on the door. Hello, bitch, get into it. This is hella crazy. As you can see, I'm hella moving around just because I'm so excited, but maybe I'll just look in the camera. So this is my face. Profile, face. I'm very excited. Thank you for everyone that is watching and supporting me along on my journey. And thank you for letting me share a little bit about myself. Oh my gosh, y'all, this is one of the last few times that we'll be having my old face. I mean, I look so pretty now, but I'll look a lot better. Well, I wouldn't say tomorrow, but in a few weeks, in a few months, I'll be looking a lot better.
Are you high right now? Do you love this shit? Do you ever get nervous? Well, if you do, then stick around because we have a lot more just for you.
It's the morning of my surgery. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I barely got any sleep last night. I slept for, I don't know, 4 hours, but I woke up in the middle of the night. But here we are. I have to drink this little drink before surgery. So, to new beginnings. I'm feeling very excited. I thought I would feel nervous, but the people had texted me before I had went to sleep last night. So it was nice to wake up. Some well wishes. Thank you. Let's get ready for the rest of my life. I'm here at the hospital. Thank you to Damien for driving me. Yay, Damien. Yes, thank you. So wish me luck. I'll see everyone on the other side. So this is me getting ready for surgery. Here's my everything else. I hope everything goes according to plan. I'm waiting for the doctor and the anesthesiologist to come in. And this is the last time y'all will see me like this. Looks so crazy. What's that? Lady Gaga? She says mint is very in this season. I can't think. I'm so excited and happy. Yay. They're gonna fuck me up. Not too much nervousness. I did feel nervous for a few seconds as I was waiting to be called in to get checked in for the surgery. But now I feel really good. I'm really excited. So let's see what I'll be like. Hi, everyone. I just came out of surgery. I made it. It really hurts to talk, but I just wanted to say I made it. Thank you to all the nurses and the team to making me my surgery. I'm going to go to sleep now.
You're welcome. Bye.
I look so crazy right now. So this is day 1 recovery. I look like I got my ass fucked up. But I'm feeling good. I'm eating my breakfast, which is a popsicle. They just gave me some morphine. I feel like every 2 or 3 hours I woke up. This shit is hella intense. But I'm feeling good. And everyone's talking to me. Yes, all the Filipino nurses. My nurse last night was so hot. Oh my gosh, she was so sweet. I pushed the call button a few times just to talk to him, but he was really nice. But so far, all the nurses have been really nice to me. Am I giving? Is it serving kind? Okay, that's it for now. I'm gonna go finish my popsicle and eat more of my breakfast. Here's me and Good Judy. You want some Good Judy? She has an eating disorder just like me. Okay, this is what I look like. The physician's assistant. Switch my bandages. Am I looking cunt? Is it pretty? This is my lunch. So fucked up, so much pain. Put in more jello, blended chicken noodle soup. This shit tastes like vomit. I really want real food. I'm so hungry. Yeah.
Bar?
Hopefully I get a room later today. They're like, there's not enough nurses or whatever. I need more drugs. Lots more drugs. It's hella painful. It's funny. I felt worse yesterday. I feel better today, but the swelling is way more today. My eyes look so crazy. I'm in Kaiser San Leandro, and this place is kind of ghetto. I know that sounds bad, but like earlier today, every 10 or 15 minutes, security to the 4th floor, security to the 4th floor. I'm just like, damn, I guess it gets hella active out here, but whatever. Could you see it? Her hurts so much. She's died. She's meditating. Oh, look at it. It looks so crazy. Oh, I'm so tired. I just want to sleep in a quiet room, but I'll just have to suffer in silence even though it's not quiet. Good Judy. She needs it bad, just like me, real bad. Let's see, do you like what you see? Very pretty girl.
Am I a pretty girl?
I look so crazy. I just been sleeping every few hours and waking up where I feel like I'm so crazy. I want to jump out of my body and just leave. It feels so weird. All the pressure on my face, my muscles hurt. I'm all achy. You would tell me, right? Is this my camera?
Is that my camera?
I can't even act cute. Sickening, no?
Sickening, no?
I feel like shit. Oh, look at me. I'm still in the hospital, day 2. My face is so swollen. My lips are huge. My God. Oh, my neck hurts so much. Hideous pain. Day 3. It's my last day in the hospital. I'm so ready to go home. It's so crazy. My voice sounds so harsh. I'm so over it.
What you're going to do, it's still on from yesterday, so it's probably going to be like that. So you're going to hover the incision all the way across. So if you can do this twice a day, that would be good. Once a day, you can see that it kind of stayed on from yesterday. I think your eye's swollen. You can do that down. Now it's all mainly in the jaw, which is common. Forehead wrap. You can also use just regular Q-tips at home. So you're going to be a little more sore there. Okay.
Cheers, bitches. In a few hours, I'll be out of the hospital. But until then, let's get this slop. I'm tired of eating this garbage, but that's all I could eat right now. I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. Most of the nurses were cool, and some of them, they were like misgendering me, or like, I kind of had attitude low-key. I get it, you're overstressed and overworked, but bruh, this is your job. This is what you signed up to do. Have a little bit of respect. At least the physician assistant was really nice. The last few days, I look like a chipmunk. My team. Okay, I'm ready to go. They gave me all my medications and everything, the dressing changes. I'm just waiting on Damien to pick me up so I can get the hell out of here. I'm so over it.
You look good.
I hate it, bitches. I'm back home, ready to recover. Thank you, Damien, for picking me up. I am now officially in recovery from my facial feminization or facial harmonization surgery. So let's see what the next few days bring. Thank you. I don't know where Damien is. I need more drugs. Hold on. This is why you need someone to help you after surgery. Where's Damien? I don't know where he is. He needs to help me. I look like that dude from Monsters, Inc. with the lips. You know what I'm talking about? The one that looked like Carly Gender. Oh, please, God, I hope that's Damien. My back hurts. Oh, it's not him. Where is he? He's probably being gay at the gym. Okay, I'm gonna go back to dying now. I guess there was a miscommunication for my friend to take care of me. I'm in so much pain. They said they were gonna help take care of me, but they weren't able to. So I just packed all my stuff and went back to my apartment. It's just so difficult. I'm in so much pain. I heard that they weren't able to help me. I just started crying. It hurts so much. Oh my God, this is so stressful and painful. I don't know what to do. It hurts. Everything hurts. I really needed help, and they weren't able to help me. It really made me upset. I need someone to help you after surgery, especially on your face. But it's okay. I can thug it out. I just finished my dinner. My friends that were supposed to take care of me, they hooked me up this afternoon. I just was really upset. I felt really sad that someone had forgotten about me in my time of need, and that never feels good, but it's okay. We're still friends. So they picked me up, and I'm back at their apartment. We're here again for another night, and then my parents are coming to help take care of me, which is nice of them. But overall, I think today was okay. I was able to rest a little bit more, but I'm still very swollen and in a lot of pain. I look like a little hoovilian. Okay, so this is a hoodlum, or like a little onion patch or radish. Yes, I'm with Damien, Isaac, and a little doggy. I just woke up from my nap. My friend picked up my prescriptions of the pills to make me feel better. I'm gonna drink my little protein shake. Tasty, hashtag sponsor JK.
Ensure please sponsor me.
I feel okay. I think I'll go for a little walk later today, but right now I just want to chill and drink my shake. Okay, I'm back in my apartment. My parents are here. The last few days have kind of been intense, but let's see if I can survive being with my parents. They've already misgendered me 7 times in the 30 minutes that they've been here, but I'm happy that they're here. Let's see how I can get along with my parents. I'm in a lot of pain, but trying to keep my spirits up, so thanks for watching. This is what I look like after my first shower. I'm still pretty swollen. I look so crazy. Look at that. No one told me I'd look like this. Okay. This is day 6 post-op. I look a little bit better with the swelling, but I'm still in a lot of pain. My voice is really raspy. I have a sore throat. Try to smile.
What the hell are you smiling at?
You know, people pay lots of money to have big lips like this. No, I really do look like a Miss Piggy. That's what my friend said.
I look like a Muppet.
Miss Piggy. You can't read it all. I'm just chilling with my friend. They were nice enough to bring me this smoothie. Yum. Here's my friend. They're taking care of me. But this is 5th day post-op. I look kind of swollen a little bit. Is there something on my face? Daywalkers. Made it to the skater park. We're just here to check out the hot skater deeds and dudettes. Hola. You're so beautiful. Oh my god. Yeah. I'd like to hear it. This is 1 week post-op on my way to Kaiser Oakland.
So you're still gonna apply ointment up here at the top and then nothing on the sides anymore. You still want to brush forward if you brush the hair.
Wait.
Those are far. Yeah, they go all the way to the side here. You're gonna feel a lot better after today. Beautiful.
This is what it look like. I'm still hella swollen. Look, it looks like even worse. But my nose looks really good. Look at that. Perfect. Still some bruising, but excited to shower. Off we go. Hi, everyone. We're at a little pit stop in the Central Valley on my way to my parents' house in Southern California, the OC. I'm gonna go recover at their house. Hi, Mariposa. Hi, daughter.
Let me see.
Huntington Beach or bust. Ow. Are we there yet? We finally made it to Huntington Beach where my parents lived. I'm happy to be here and just chill and recover. We're 11 days post-op from my surgery. I'm feeling a lot better. The last week has definitely been really intense in my recovery, but I'm feeling good so far. It seems like my powers are returning. I definitely feel the energy of me being able to restart my HRT, and then the weed, oh my gosh, being able to get high is definitely like everything is normalizing. That I'm definitely balancing out. I still have a lot more of my recovery. I made lots of progress in just a little under 2 weeks in my surgery and with the face card. We'll see what today brings. Hopefully it's a good vibes, a good time, and I think I'm looking pretty decent so far. Want to see my pussy? Okay, this is what I look like day 13 post-op, but I reveal oh, my hair's so greasy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to see if I see a little bit of results. I can only really see the nose because there wasn't the huge difference to begin with. I just had some slight bridge work done and they didn't even have to do anything here. I'm trying to see the other results of the different items I had on my surgery. I can definitely tell on my eyes, they're definitely much more lifted and it looks like a little angel baby and I really like that a lot. So far, I'm liking the results. My hairline isn't particularly even, but that's okay. That's why I have bangs. So this is the before of me looking gross and like a slob in the Garbage Patch Kids. Let me get into this shower gig really quick. Just got out of the shower. My hair still looks a mess, but it's okay. Everything is so sensitive and so sore and so painful around my forehead and along the scalp, along here where they did the lift. And it's really painful to shower and wash my hair, so I can't do a very good job. Shout out to all the people with chronic illness. That shit sucks. I'm sorry that you're in pain all the time. Damn, this shit goes all the way back. We go hella back. All the way back here. This really hurts a lot. I'm still in constant pain and my forehead. Everything is really swollen and painful, but I'm keeping my spirits up because this is what I asked for. Even in the midst of all this pain and challenges that I'm facing along my recovery, I try to remain grateful and think about all the positive things and all the good things that have happened in my life so far. So I'm thankful that my surgery went well. I'm recovering fairly nicely. 2 weeks out, I'm somehow enjoying spending time with my family, even though it's a lot, but I'm thankful to have at least some family in my life that supports me in whichever way that they can. I'm thankful that I am slowly reintroducing eating, and I'm actually looking forward to eating versus before my surgery, I didn't really care. I still have some stuff to work on with my eating disorder, but so far I am enjoying eating more solid food. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for being able to make my documentary for my friends. I'm glad that they're in my life and they love and care about me. Life's full of suffering. So I try to remind myself to
be thankful for everything that we are given in this life and all the gifts and blessings that we can use today to change our lives and change the world. Good morning. It's day 14 post-op of my surgery. I just woke up a little bit ago. I didn't get that much sleep. Yeah, this shit is not comfortable. Ow, it's in my hair. All right, there we go. The bandages are off, but this is what I look like. Are you into it? Our nose is constantly running too. That's another thing I didn't know about the surgery is that you'll be waking up coughing up blood and sneezing out blood. These little blood wads, a phlegm wad, but it's made out of blood. It's so gross and it's so nasty. And everything has to be through a straw because it's too much by itself. And then I have to eat the little gummy like this. Yeah, my jaw hurts, chewing hurts, my neck still hurts to bend it back. This surgery fucks you up. Is the swelling still okay? Is it the same? I mean, the whole reason I'm making this documentary is to show you the real me being busted, the recovery, the realty on what it's like transitioning and having the surgery and the recovery. Day 14, post-op, FFS. What the fuck is my name? Line Transmutation Nation in the building. Take your L's and turn them into W's. Thank you for helping me.
Oh, don't make that face.
Do you know how sensitive it is right there? It hurts so much. That's why I only did a lot.
Right here. For now. Is that good?
That's fine.
And then you're going to put ice packs, right? Okay.
Thanks, Paul. On my way to rehab, I didn't expect this on my 2024 bingo card. But thankfully, my friend Isaac is dropping me off at rehab. I have no expectations. So I'm really kind of nervous. I felt more nervous than I did for my surgery last night. I was tossing and turning. I couldn't go to sleep. Everything goes well. No, it's just so crazy to me. I don't know. I never expected this, but that's life. You never know what happens to you. It just happens. But I will be there for 30 days, no access to my phone. I'm not going to be able to text or do anything, which is fine. It's focused on your recovery and your well-being and maintain privacy and confidentiality for the other patients that are at that facility receiving treatment. So I understand. It's for my health and well-being. Hopefully everything goes well at this intensely structured, less fun summer camp that I'll just be eating. The therapy is eating. There'll be psychotherapy as well as eating. Just know that it's okay to have a problem and ask for help. I might be the only trans non-binary person there. I hope not, but I'll have to carry for the girls. I'll have to be serving. We'll see what the vibe's like. But yeah, no expectations, open heart, open mind, and an open stomach. But I'll definitely write down my thoughts. 30 days will go by fast, I'm sure. 30 days in lockup. A bootleg passage is Malibu, but for eating disorders. So it's not that bougie, but like wannabe low-key. Well, I guess this is it. We're on our way up in the hills in East Bay. Please don't fat shame me when I come back if I gain any weight. This is something I've struggled with my whole life. So it might take a while for me to start feeling better and have a better attitude. Okay, I busted out in the drawing. They didn't ask for my phone and no one asked, so I just kept it, but I have to give it back. I had to go to San Francisco for a medical appointment, so I needed to use my phone, obviously. But I am actually liking the results so far. Look at this. I'm like 7 weeks post-op, which is pretty good. Look at her. Is my face getting him? So just doing a little check-in. So far, things are going good with my treatment. And right now, I'm just going to focus on my recovery so I can get out of there very quickly because I was very concerned that I would be like the only queer person, the only bitch fucking serving. I have to serve. It is my duty. And I appreciate that the good Lord, the universe has blessed me with other NBs, other queer people that are really cool and we get along very well. So I appreciate them. So thank you, Ali. Shout out to them. It's crazy to have my journey of being transgender and then that sort of intersecting with my eating disorder and body dysmorphia. Those two are very connected. So I'm glad to talk a little bit about my experience with my disorder. Can't wait to go back home. I love you.
Bitch, they couldn't keep me down. They said, fuck trans lives matter, bitch. I just fresh out rehab. I left ACA or against clinical advice, but I don't care. They were being transphobic as fuck to me and my homegirl. No, they really couldn't keep me down. It was, you said, where's the hot Cheetos? No, bitch, I'm gonna starve now. Just for that? No, I don't want to say that sort of stuff. But I won't let you. I'm glad that you care about me. Eat your salad, baby. Eat your salad. They wouldn't even give us salad. You would be surprised what they serve. A lot of it is exposure, which I understand. So I'm just glad and thankful that my friends were able to pick me up from rehab. Shout out to Hector and Memo. I look so crazy right now, but
Ooh, so cute. I think I want it. I think I have it. It's a really like it. Ooh, that's nice. I think I need it.
Being pregnant with my mom on our birthday.
these bitches are my sons.
Is it twins or triplets?
Quadruplets. Oh my gosh. 2024 has certainly been a year. Eating disorder, trans, pregnant.
Happy birthday, dear Christian and Mom. Happy birthday.
We're on the way to Huntington Beach to go deliver the puppy for my parents. I just want to say thank you. It's been so long since I talked to myself. This whole time I've been working on myself and choosing to put recovery first in my life for my eating disorder. That's why it's been hella hard for me to even just to talk to myself, as in process my feelings, process my emotions. So I feel very good. She's so adorable. Look at her. Look, she wants to eat my homework, y'all. My dog ate my homework. Hello, welcome back. I look a little bit different. I am currently at Kaiser, Oakland for my 6-month follow-up for my post-op visit for FFS or FHS. Do I look Womana? I'm going to keep the sunglasses on because I don't like how I look right now, but I'm really excited to see my surgeon and hopefully also get this little keloid removed so I can get the A-OK to get my nose piercings because I feel really naked. Not having these for like 6 months is like, people to be like, oh, yes, T-slur and be derogatory with the nose piercings. I want them to clock me. I don't want to be, oh, maybe they are, maybe they're not. No, I want the nose piercings. Hopefully everything goes well. It's just a quick follow-up visit. I'm really excited. Let's get into it. Is she giving Womana? Is she giving cunt? See, do I look good? How do I look? You let me know if I look bad, right? Let's see what the day brings for me on this glorious day of days. Okay, the visit is over. Everything looks good. I'm feeling very well. She got rid of the keloids. So yeah, I'm feeling very pussy, very cunt. Thank you, Dr. Brandsetter. We're back in the car. I got to go back to the city for my eating disorder program. Everything is going well so far today. I really enjoyed my visit. She's such a nice provider. I love her so much. Let's enjoy the rest of the day, friends. Thank you so much for following along on my journey and supporting me through this process. What's been going on? Recovering from my eating disorder. This has been the most difficult year of my entire life, 2024. I'm eternally grateful for all the experience that I've had. However, this shit was really stressful. This is the hardest thing I ever had to do.
have surgery, recover from surgery, go to rehab, leave rehab early, relapse, struggle bus until doing day treatment. And now I'm almost done with day treatment and I'm going to do sit-down program. Yeah, this was a very difficult year. It's okay. We shall persevere. I am so happy that I'm in a better place than what I was a few months ago, 6 months ago, year prior. People have really noticed that I've done a lot of work and I had a glow up successfully. And it feels really good that other people have recognized my power and my strengths and my talents. And I feel like I'm it, bitch. Like, I don't know what else to say. I just feel like very that girl, very womana, very cunt. It was too good. The lesson is be yourself. Be yourself at all times because people are attracted to that. People can feel that vibe and energy when you're confident and living your authentic truth, that there is a power that resides in all of us. But when you really tap into it, you begin to shine and have such beautiful experiences happen to you. And just more life, more love, all these wonderful things that happens when you truly are yourself. Hi, welcome back. Yes, I'm looking hella cunt. I got my little thoughty fit on. I'll show you the rest once I get out. But yes, let's come to this mug. Is it giving? I need to figure out how to do better hair and makeup. But last day of eating disorder treatment for the partial hospitalization. And then I'm going to start my step down program on Monday. So let's go.
The Death of Brett, but make it cunt Halloween edition.
I'd rather be smoking weed whenever we breathe.
It is so crazy that we as trans people have to justify our existence and justify why we need care. With Kaiser, there are so many hoops, barriers, gatekeeping policies that patients have to navigate, makes it extremely difficult to continue to access care, but also to feel hopeful about any sort of meaningful change when it comes to accessing trans healthcare in America. I just had a meeting with LCSW because they require 2 mental health appointments even before you speak to the nurse, who will then put in a surgical consult, which that whole process will probably take about 6 months from you meeting with your therapist, 1, however long you have to wait to get that initial appointment, 2, getting that second appointment, and depending how long you have to wait for that second appointment, 3, getting that nurse appointment, and then to actually getting a surgical consult where you meet in person with the surgeon is another 3 to 4 months. Just from you in your mind saying, I want surgery, 6 months. Just for them, not even for them to say yes or no, just for them just to even meet with you, and then they can make the decision whether you're a good candidate for the surgery and whether they will agree to perform that surgery. Every single step of the way, I have to say, yes, I'm trans, and yes, this is something that I want. Like, do other people have to justify their existence to access healthcare? That is so crazy. Like, I kind of got teary-eyed when I was speaking with that person. They were nice. They were also they, them. Shout out to all the they, thems in the world. It's just so crazy. Like, having to on one hand, advocate for yourself every step of the way as a trans person to access care. And then also everything else that we as humans have to endure, but as trans people specifically, transphobia, the election that just happened, recovery, like this has a huge impact on my recovery. The eating disorder has served me in different ways. One being having a sense of control in my life, particularly when it comes to my body, and using my eating disorder as a way to engage in body modification, to numb out, just to, I don't know, feel good. I mean, it doesn't feel good anymore, but having an eating disorder and being in recovery, and then also trying to navigate care as a trans person, I understand why people do certain things. I'm not condoning violence, but I understand why people get a gun, shoot themselves, shoot other people. I understand why people have drug and alcohol addictions or other substance addictions. Totally get that. I understand why people engage in certain harmful behaviors to feel good about themselves in some twisted way. I understand that now. So I have great empathy for people not only like myself, but people like you as well. I understand it's very difficult. And so, with that being said, that also affects my recovery because okay, what am I doing this for then? Like, what does it fucking matter? It is so hard. This is the most I've ever cried in my whole life, this whole year. This is so difficult. Like, I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. I love being trans and stuff, but this is not for the weak. You have to be fucking strong to be yourself and live your authentic truth all the time and not give a fuck about what anyone else says. It's hard. This isn't for everybody, but only certain people like me are able to harness, possess that power and transmute it. That's why I shoved needles through my nose, bleached my eyebrows, and dyed my hair like this because a bitch is going through it. Hello, nation. A change is coming your way. I will be on my way to go to the Superior Courthouse in San Francisco to file a petition to update my name and gender markers on my legal document. So that's what I have here. I never imagined that I would update my name. However, I did not want to deny myself of the full transgender experience. I'm excited for the next stage in my journey. I feel like I've crossed so many boxes in 2024. So long, Christian. Hello, Nevada. I'm very excited to complete this next step in my gender journey and my transition. So don't give up hope. Good evening, nation. It is December 31st, 2024. This year has definitely been a roller coaster. This has been the most difficult year I've ever had to experience in my entire life. 2024 was the year of the trans. This is the year of the work. Okay, now the real work begins. I did a lot of the work. Now it's like, okay, bitch, we gotta level up. 2025 is the year of Nevada. Well, here we are, waiting for my vocal feminization surgery here at Kaiser Oakland. Let's hope everything goes well. I'm signing the consent forms, and soon the anesthesiologist and my surgeon will come in to talk to me a little bit more. So, very excited, a little bit nervous, but we'll just see how things go. So, wish me luck.
You silent or were you silenced?
First post-op visit.
Before. Here's at the time of surgery. And then here's a more close-up of that. The stitches. I know it looks a little crazy there, but those are the sutures. Those will dissolve, the sutures.
Okay, so that's my new vocal cords. This is today now. Yay. The voice will be here soon. Awaiting my fate at the passport office. This is literally so fucked up. This is so fucked up, dude. Bitch, can I live? Can I fucking live?
Hold on.
Y'all, fuck the Trump administration, fuck those Nazi-ass motherfuckers, and fuck all you bitches that voted for him too, because you co-signed that. That's what you did. I'm mad. This whole past month of January, I've literally been spending hours almost every single day trying to update all my documents, update my social security, DMV, passport. So it's definitely been a lot while continuing to transition and also navigating all this sort of stuff, because every day it just seems like there's some other bullshit ass executive order that's being signed. It's really bad. I'm still trying to recover from surgery. I'm dealing with all this name change. And with this passport thing, it is so difficult. The last few weeks have just been so mentally exhausting, personal stuff with my own relationships. It's just, it's so much. It's too much. My situation is similar for other American citizens. It's just so crazy that this bullshit from the conservative people, they can just do whatever the fuck they want. And other people in office are spineless motherfuckers that don't stand up and neoliberals. They're not doing shit. You feel me? They're just, we strongly urge you lead strongly. Bitch, no, fuck all that shit. You're letting them doing whatever the fuck they want. You're not doing anything. You could stand up and say no, but they won't because they don't care about us, whether it's conservative or liberal, Democratic, Republican. Bitches do not give a fuck about people like me in my community. So what I have to do to survive and protect myself is to stand up for myself and my community. That's what I have to do. No one else is coming to save me. Only myself and my people. No one else. So it's like, I have to fight back and I have to continue to resist. But this shit is in different areas. This is so difficult. My friends that support me, this one's like, they try to be supportive as possible, but they will never have a clue or even one iota of relating to my own personal experience because they don't know what it's like to be trans and to walk in my shoes and walk in my life. They can never experience that. Y'all really don't know how difficult it is. Just trying to stay strong and look at the positive sides. But I don't know, it's not looking good. My transition and trying to move forward with that, I didn't even talk about it, but I'm trying to remain level-headed as possible. I'm doing all the things in my power that I can do to change or try to change it somewhat for the better, at least for myself and my own experience. However, it's hard. It's really hard. Obviously, my voice is still recovering. It's extremely difficult, but I'm trying to remain positive because I did attend transgender meetings last week and met other trans femmes and found community and other trans people, which was really good. You can see me crying closer up, even though it is extremely difficult for Nevada and people in my community. I'm trying to stay bold in the face of great adversity and immense hardship. Happiness and sadness are two sides of the same coin. So I'm trying to persevere and continue on. At least I was born in California, in San Francisco, where I'm able to update all my documents, DMV, Social Security, birth certificates, because in other states in America, most people can't really do that, unfortunately. At least I'm acknowledging my privilege and how blessed and grateful I am that I was able to do that with relative ease for the most part. We need more woke. Please bring back woke. Game on, bitch. Let's go. You know what? Bitches can't keep me down. I'm still gonna serve cunts. I'm gonna still serve puss. I don't give a fuck about what these bitches are trying to do to me. They will never keep a tranny down. Bitch, I am more powerful than you can even believe. So best believe I'm still gonna get mines. I'm still gonna serve fucking puss, serve cunts right on the platter for you. Bitches, this is not the end of me. This is not, you could never end a tranny bitch. You got me so fucked up. This shit is, bye. They're really out here trying to end me. You bitches could never, could ever wish a bitch would. You could never. It's done. It's a wrap. You tried. You tried though. You tried, but sorry. Bitch, it is in my blood. It is my destiny. I will always serve kind no matter the circumstances. So even though bitch may be down for a little bit, but not for long, like you just can't, like, the power that has. So like, give it up. You lose, I win. Speaking at the Human Rights Commission of San Francisco. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Nevada Nubez, and I am a non-binary trans femme that lives in San Francisco. I am a Bay Area native, and I grew up in the East Bay, and I've been living in San Francisco for over 10 years. Transgender rights are currently under attack and vicious scrutiny. We endure great turmoil and suffer immensely under the weight of the federal government. Nearly every day in this nation, new anti-trans bills are being considered in other states' legislation. We face undue hardship and risk our lives simply for being our authentic selves and existing as the people that we are. If another minority group was spoken about or treated as poorly as the transgender community does in this nation, it would be an entirely different conversation. Human rights should never be up for debate. However, some people in this country, right in this very meeting hall, there are hateful individuals like trans radical exclusionary feminists in this room that believe that trans people are somehow deserving of less rights. No one should be more or less deserving of any rights than any other group of people in this country. We should be free to live our lives without threat of violence or death. I will not live in fear and I will not remain quiet about it. We will continue to resist and maintain our domain of existence within this world. Transgender people have existed since human beings walked this earth. Trans people only want to exist in harmony with the rest of this world. Numerous members of my community are discriminated against within this city on a daily basis, whether they are indirect acts of microaggression or intentional harm perpetrated by transphobic ideology. The transgender community of San Francisco is under attack. Although we live in a supposedly neoliberal sanctuary city, there are local businesses that are instituting trans exclusionary policies right here in San Francisco. Hate has no place in San Francisco. Recently, 2 bathhouses, Imperial Spa located at the edge of Fillmore in Japantown and Archimedes Banya in Hunters Point, enacted hateful and exclusionary policies against trans people. These policies were disguised as religious freedoms or cultural beliefs. However, thanks to local protests by members of my community and allies, those 2 businesses have since rescinded their hateful and exclusionary policies. But what about the other businesses in San Francisco that shame the same dangerous beliefs that trans people should be excluded from public spaces? As a public business doing business in SF, they have no legal right of discrimination. So I ask you this, each and every one of you commissioners, what is the city government currently doing to prevent discrimination against trans people and enforce human rights in San Francisco? How will the Human Rights Commission safeguard civil liberties for all individuals, but particularly trans people? Thank you. It looks so good. Oh my gosh, thank you, Breath. All your hard work. Trans people have always been at the forefront of every political movement and continue to be the catalyst for change. March 31st, International Transgender Day of Visibility, San Francisco City Hall, 2025. We are currently out here as an interactive art installation, the larger San Francisco community and the international transgender community. I am not invisible. Hello, nation. It's so lovely to see each and every one of you. How is everyone doing? I haven't been able to address the nation, so today's my opportunity to do so. I'm still recovering from vocal surgery, and it'll probably be several more months before I'm able to see the final results. It's beautiful to experience all the spectrum of human emotions, and I'm coming to enjoy suffering because I don't view it as suffering. Well, in a sense, it is suffering because it is painful. However, I'm giving meaning to my suffering, and that's what makes it beautiful. Because suffering is human existence. That is what we're put on this earth in this life cycle, is to break free from the cycle of life, death, rebirth. So if we are able to undo even just a few of those chains, our karmic debts, we're making it much easier for us in the next life to get a little bit higher in achieving enlightenment, although we can experience it in this very moment, but it's easier said than done. So even though I am in a weird place right now, it actually doesn't feel that bad. I'm not freaking out as much as I used to. If I was experiencing this before I was trans, I think it would be totally different. It would have been like, that sort of stuff. But it's okay. This is life. Life is beautiful. I'm beautiful. We're going to get into it. It's important to get activated in whatever community that you choose to be a part of and want to build and foster. For me, that's the transgender community. I make it a point to go in person to this one group, the support group, where it is a very diverse group of trans, non-binary, indigenous, two-spirit, intersex folks. But particularly, it's the older LGBTQ people. We get to break bread and share with one another. It's so nice to be in those spaces because there are multi-generations, people around my age in the mid to late 20s to people in their 70s or 80s. There's a huge generational divide between that generation and my generation. And a lot of people aren't on social media like how the younger kids are. So we don't hear that sort of wisdom and knowledge very often. So that's why I'm glad to be a part of that space where we can learn more about each other and lift each other up and share our beautiful stories and share our sorrows and just be there and love one another. So that's one reason why I like being in part of in-person groups and seeing the same people every week and being friends with them and getting to know them, as well as discussing real life issues and topics and concerns that affect the transgender community, because we're driving the future forward. Trans people are the catalyst for change in this universe. There's so many marginalized identities within the transgender community, which is already a marginalized community itself. So sometimes there's a lot of, friction or infighting. So we have to work together. We have to build community, and also build community with the cis, straight, heteronormative people too, not just within the trans community, because people react out of fear, out of ignorance, out of not knowing. And that's why I'm making this documentary, to share my life as a non-binary trans person, to show other people that we're just like you. If you cut us, we bleed, we eat the same food, we go to the same churches, we go to the same temples, we go to the same places, we pay our taxes. Well, some of us pay our taxes. We pay our taxes. You feel me? So it's like we're not that much different, but people don't understand that. I've done a lot. I've worked a lot on myself, and I'm just ready to continue building my life. At some point, I'll be done medically transitioning to a certain degree where I'm not needing any surgeries and I can just live my life with myself. Once all that's done, I'll definitely have to reevaluate and see what else is in store for Nevada. But I am happy with the way things have turned out. I think this is where things need to end, is right here. Yeah, we're leaving it all behind today. Yeah, that's right. This is my work. This is my life. Other people shared that they had it all in this group: jobs, careers, family, wealth, status, love. And they gave it all up. They gave it all up to become who they are, to be who they are, to live their authentic lives, openly out and proud as a transgender person. They gave up everything they have. In order to receive everything, you must give everything up. And that is what trans people have to do. We have to be ourselves. Even though we may face great hardship and suffer immensely, just to be who we are, just to be ourselves, just to acknowledge the fact of who we are, we have to give everything up. We have to suffer, but it is all worth it. It is all worth it in the end. I would never trade it for anything else in this world. I will never look back on my previous life. Must continue forward. And that is what transgender people do. We can never look back. We can never go back, because this is a new life. The new me. My name is Nevada. Nice to meet you. It's been a beautiful experience. Even if I die tomorrow, I'll be happy. If I were to take my last breath, even a few moments from now, it would be all worth it, and I wouldn't change a thing. Thank you, nation. We are one nation, undivided, indivisible, not invisible, but visible, beautiful, out, authentic, proud, transgender people. Thank you, all trans people, past, present, and future, my trans elders, my trans brothers and sisters, everyone within the transgender community. This is for you.
Just as an additional on-camera thing to look back on, I think as you continue, you should revisit and then do a check-in on, this is what I've learned in this process. Add more questions on the actual journey of transitioning. So after you have your surgery, right? And going through that process of getting used to life and walking the world, right? The difference that people react to you differently, right? Absorbing that and actually getting used to that, that's another level of medically transitioning. And that's the time that people need, and letting it sink in and then revisiting and saying, hey, okay, so after you've had surgeries, how was that process for you? What did you do?
This is a retrospective of my experience as a non-binary trans woman. Nation. I have been transitioning now for almost 3 years. Today is November 11th, 2025, and I have come so far in my journey, not only in my transition, but also my overall evolution of different aspects of my identity, of my queer identity, my trans identity. There have been many changes in my life, even though I am embracing all the changes, because that is what we must do on this earth, is move with the natural ebbs and flows of life. But it's been difficult to cope with these changes. What have I learned on my journey so far in my transition? I've learned to accept all the changes that come with transitioning, the physical, having surgeries, and medically transitioning with hormones, and my physical appearance altered and changing, but as well as the mental and the spiritual changes that come with evolving as a human. and the life experiences that I've gained and come to love these past few years. I've learned how to carry myself in the world as a non-binary trans woman. I've learned how to navigate relationships, whether they're platonic or romantic. I've learned to accept that you're not going to get everything that you want in life, even with transitioning. The thing about transitioning is that it doesn't solve all your problems. It does help with your sense of being and understanding yourself and feeling like you have a better idea of who you are in this world, how you envision yourself, how you want others to perceive you, how you carry yourself in this world. But there's still all the other aspects of your life that doesn't necessarily change because you transition. However, my entire life is different. It is a completely new life, a brand new life that I cannot compare to my previous experience before I started transitioning and letting go of the old aspects of my identity and everything else that have prevented me from furthering my development and continuing with becoming myself, and also accepting that I am imperfect and having to intellectualize but also internalize has been a great change that I've had to learn to accept and love, because I love myself and I love you, Nation, because whether you transition at a young age or later in life, you're creating a brand new life for yourself that is your own and precious and tender. So it is incredibly difficult to not only allow yourself to be vulnerable with yourself, but also be vulnerable with other people. And that is something that I've learned more so in 2025 previously compared to 2024. Last year in 2024, I struggled with creating the foundations of my life. As you watched earlier in the film, I had my first surgery and I struggled with my eating disorder recovery and was learning how to become myself. And in 2025, this past year, I've tapped into that inner strength, that divine femininity that resides in me, and allowed myself to have all these experiences that I didn't allow myself to have prior to transitioning. I am giving myself grace and practicing self-compassion of learning how to cope with the changes and embrace them. I think that's the most difficult part. There's so many different colors that make up the transgender community, and everyone has a unique experience. So I believe trans people are unique in that aspect, where they have to do a lot more work than cis people in regards to what does their identity mean to them? What does it mean to be a man, a woman, intersex, non-binary? I still identify as non-binary or agender. However, gave myself permission to explore other aspects of my sexuality and gender identity. I think for me, a non-binary trans woman is someone that presents feminine, is drawn to the feminine, wants to be perceived as the feminine, but I believe on the inside, they still do not have a strong attachment to a woman or being a woman, because what does it mean to be a woman? There are many subtleties and nuances within non-binary identities. And in my personal experience, I am 99% feminine and 1% masculine, if I had to give a number. But I still don't know what it means to be a woman. I feel like a woman, but I don't believe I am one. However, for many people, particularly cisgender people, they don't understand that. And even with binary trans women, I don't think they have a understanding as well, other than non-binary folks and trans femmes. Perhaps it is because people feel so strongly about the gender binary, even as trans people, where they have this innate sense of having to adhere to the gender norms and the societal norms of being a woman, behaving like a woman, looking like a woman, all the other aspects that are associated with being a woman. However, as a non-binary trans femme, I enjoy the aspects of femininity. It's still difficult for me to completely identify as a woman, because there's such great expectations on what it means to be a woman. I don't want to adhere to those rules and those standards because, one, it doesn't serve me. Two, who created those rules? Who created those standards? Where does it come from? Does it come from patriarchy and wanting to serve men and be subservient to men and having to adhere to these strict rules that only hinder us as human beings? I believe that will be a continuing conversation as I continue my journey as a non-binary trans woman. Earlier, I struggled with accepting all the physical changes that came with medically transitioning. A lot of that was body dysmorphia and gender dysphoria intertwined and enmeshed with my eating disorder, not wanting to have breasts and look a certain way because I was trying to cope with my gender identity, even though I was transitioning and I wanted to be more feminine. The eating disorder voices were still very loud and at the forefront of my mind that prevented me from continuing further with my transition. My eating disorder recovery has allowed me to be more feminine and embrace my femininity while still remaining true to my non-binary identity. Two things can be true at once, yes and. However, at that time, I had struggled from last year. And earlier this year in 2025, I was still struggling, but I allowed myself to express my femininity and really accept myself for who I am and accept my destiny. And that is a non-binary doll, the non-binary quantification of Nevada. How do people react or perceive me now versus then? I think they like what they see. And so do I. As I furthered my medical transition and I had more surgeries, FFS, focal feminization surgery, body contouring, and breast augmentation, my physical perception of myself and of other people's are very different from a few months ago, a year ago, to when I had first started medically transitioning a few years ago. I want to be perceived as a woman. My goal ultimately is to be passing as a cis woman, a visibly queer, hot, sexy cis woman. But my perception of myself is very different from what others perceive of me. I'm sure you've heard the saying, inner saboteur, or we are our own worst enemy. And I think that is still true with trans people. There are mental aspects in our mind that distort our perception of ourselves and how we present versus other people's perception of us. I don't know if I will ever see myself other than myself and what I feel on the inside, but I want to be perceived as a woman. As I've continued my transition, my male privilege is no more. I do still have some privileges left, like my white privilege, for example. However, I am recognizing the intersectionalities of transitioning and becoming a woman and living as a woman and being perceived as a woman. I've experienced misogyny and discrimination, not only for being a woman, but also being trans as well. As I've continued with my transition and my evolution, I have a better understanding of misogyny and the patriarchy and all these harmful institutions that are imposed by society that are essentially a prison, not only for women, or trans women, trans femmes, trans people, but for everyone. And that is something that I've learned. I believe one of the most significant changes I've experienced in my transition from this past year compared to my previous years of transitioning is recognizing the inner strength and resiliency that resides in all of us. That is the center of us and which helps move us forward in our lives. I have a better understanding of who I am, my power, my strength, my self. Nation, thank you so much for watching and joining me on my journey. I learned so much, not only about myself, but also you, Nation, and the beautiful people that are a part of it. When we learn about each other's experiences, we have a deeper understanding of our own. My vision for the nation is a platform where we can connect, grow, and evolve and become the people who we are destined to be, while reciprocating the love that we share with each other, with the world. I envision beautiful, smiling, loving, proud, out transgender and gender expensive people that are self-confident, bold, and empowered to take ownership of their life. And that positive change will have a ripple effect throughout the entire universe. That is my vision for the nation. Will you join the nation?